Hi, thank you for choosing this video to watch. Today I'm going to show you a glove controller that I built based on designs by Alan Jackson, who runs a channel called CuSi Sound. There's a little card up here in the corner that you can click and you'll see all the circuit diagrams, schematics, and build instructions. He does a great job. I'm not going to show you how to do that. Maybe I'll show you the instructions that I used, but what I really want to do is show you the glove itself because it's a bit different from his. It's this. I'll do a close-up. So this is a gauntlet glove that I bought on Amazon. It was advertised as a medieval cosplay glove, but I wanted to use it as the foundation for my electronics controller glove. So it didn't come with this belt. The belt I attached to this little housing that I put the connections in. So these are just a stereo connections, and I used actually stereo wires inside to connect these copper tips to the circuit board inside this box. There are 4 knobs on the box, and there's 4 different pitches I can choose. Adjusting the knob will raise or lower the pitch when I make the connection between these two. The thumb has the power, and it's like closing the circuit. So I change the pitch by turning the knob. And that's how it works. Let me show you how I made it, and then I'll go into detail. Here is a strip board diagram that Alan kindly provides on his video. This is just a screen grab from his video. And if you're not familiar with strip boards, here's one in real life. It's basically just a fiberglass board with holes in it and copper printed in strips on one side. The other side is non-conductive. So it's just a way to organize your circuits, and it's a manufactured product. They make the holes generally the same distance as most of the components you'll use. So you just pop them in there and solder them down, and it's easy to use. Here is the schematic that he provides also. So if you don't want to use a strip board, you can use this schematic, and it just basically tells you which leads of which components are stuck together. And that's what I did. I drew my own little diagram for myself because I like to use a different kind of proto board. This same idea, it's non-conductive on one side, but there's little copper pads around each hole. So I can go diagonally between, I don't know, it's just the way I think. After I soldered together that simple circuit, that's when I constructed the glove. So I used this copper flashing that I bought at a local hardware store. This is just what roofers use to line the outside of a chimney when they're laying down the shingles. But I cut out little strips and bent them roughly into fingertip shapes. Then, because it didn't have a metalworking stake, I decided to use my crescent wrench and put it in my vise. And I just used that round edge to make the fingertips look more fingery, I guess. I soldered a wire to the inside of the fingertip, so I didn't have to worry about doing that later. And I also drilled little holes in the edges so that I could attach it to the leather. really like the look of the wires coming out of those fingertips, so I looked around for braided cord, and what I found was shoelaces. And I was hoping, and I did find that it was true, that these things were braided around a core. So I just splayed open the braids and pulled out the nylon cord in the middle, and then replaced it with the wire. And after that worked out so well, I decided I wanted to wrap leather around my wires. And I couldn't actually figure out a way of doing that easily and cheaply. So I found this vinyl cord that I guess it fits. So I bought a brown and black cordage and plaited it around the wires to kind of unify it and protect it, really. But all this is in service of the sound. So here, let me just adjust this. Okay, so I tune this according to what's on my timbre wolf, my thing here, and I've already set up these 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll use this as a way to tune these approximately, because this isn't always in tune, but I'll get close. That's the wrong one. So So not only is it fun to play with, and it's interesting to look at, and just the concept that you can make sound with your fingertips, but you could use any kind of controller to make music with. I mean, right now, obviously we use sequencers to program sounds. This is sort of like a manual sequencer, but you could use anything. And in fact, I don't know if you've seen it. There will probably be a link up here in the corner to the video I made where I used a piezo element attached to a rake to make sound with. In fact, I was thinking about that as I was doing this and realized that I could use that rake as a gate. So I'm going to quick shift over to that video to show you what I did. I've glued this piezo element to a piece of metal, and I've attached it to, well, I've just divided it out so that either I have a 1/4 inch jack or an 1/8 inch jack. And I'll stick that down here. And I've plugged it into this DIY amplifier, which I can either play the sound when I flip it this way through this very speaker, or when I flip it that way, I can send it out through any other number of things, a mixer or a tape recorder, or, as I will show you, a gate input. So this is what it sounds like now. And you can hear that little buzz there, and that's going to be relevant here in a second. So now it's sending its signal out through this black wire and into the VCA. So this is the view of the sequencer, and if you're not familiar with sequencers, basically this little red cable would send in a regular pulse from another part of the synthesizer, and it would step through each one of these little dials, which is dialed to a specific note. So you get a little 8-step melody. What I've done instead is I've taken, instead of sending it through sending a regular pulse through it, I'm just going to pluck that rake. And you'll notice that it's, here, I'll just show you, I'll take this out. So it's receiving lots and lots of little signals that makes it run through the sequence very quickly. And you know, interestingly, you heard that buzzing sound that's basically acting like white noise. And when you send white noise through any kind of clock signal or gate signal, this is what you get too. And I did want to include this diversion to point out the fact that you don't need a keyboard to make electronic music. All you need is a way to trigger the sound and a way to control the frequency. But I don't want to belabor the point or bore you. So let's get back to the CuSi glove and breaking news. So I made two. Obviously, when you buy gloves, you don't buy just one, you buy a pair. So I bought a pair, and I did the same thing with this one as this one, but I changed this. I decided I didn't really need this box, because who knows if I'm ever going to have to actually disconnect it. If I do, I use the same idea inside here. So let me show you. So this one operates on the same idea, except I added a little power switch, so I could just keep it in this box forever. I like the way this is configured a little more. I actually welded this myself, and this is a little aluminum. This is sheet metal. This is aluminum. And on the underside, I've bolted in the battery, and if I want to take this harness off, I've decided that I will just use these little terminals here. See them? So the wires come in, and there's a little screw in the top there. So it's still easily removable from this if I need to, but I think it looks a little more functional. It works better for me. So yeah. Who knows if I'm going to be able to master this. It's difficult to play, and as you heard, let's see, this is blink and blink. It's a little scratchy. You got to get it right on the tip, or you don't get a clean tone. So in the demonstration that will follow, I'm just going to be playing a very simple 3-tone melody and concentrating on my technique. So it'll probably be just a drone, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for listening so far and watching this video. Okay. Okay. I can't operate the camera with the gauntlets on. Take off the gauntlet.
Bye.